And we are live. Hello, everyone. Carlos here. Welcome. I planned on having, I always plan on having nice guests on. At the moment, they haven't shown up. If I sent them the invites for now, I'll open it up, the chat later on after I get tired of my monologue. I'm getting better at though. I feel that I'm improving my chatting skills and I'm getting my thoughts a bit more focused. And so today I'm planning to cover two type of subjects. One is archaeology, which I will do, of course. I always love archaeology. And the other one is sort of a clarification of definitions that have been floating around. It's been covered, of course, many times. People, awesome people have covered the subjects, but I put in my 2 cents worth from an archaeological, biological perspective. Well, it is my field. I have to know enough about biology to be able to, for example, classify different homonyms, and different hominids as well, and which archaeology entails. So I'll get on to the first definition, which everyone knows, is basically we are mammals, for example. We are mammals. First of all, I'll try and find out before I get on to this and make a fool of myself. I'll get all the classifications of what we are. Homo sapiens sapiens. And I'll just say hello before a while I'm looking at this. Hello, Gaius. Hello, Carlos, David, and hello, Eleftherios, my friends. Okay, we'll start off with our scientific classification of what makes Homo sapiens sapiens. Oh, hello, Olive. We belong first to the Animalia kingdom. So we are animals. We are not plants, and we are not fungi. They are the three major. They are the three that we know of groups of living organisms, excluding the viruses, which at the moment they belong to a separate category, but we will not cover those. They are just irrelevant for the moment. So we are Animalia. We belong to the phylum Chordata, which means we have a central nervous system. That's what it basically means. The Cyad Synapsidia. I will admit I don't know. I've forgotten what that means. So I chastise myself. I should have been better prepared, but I will get back to that later. In fact, I'll do it right now. I just click on what cyanidia means. Synonym. It's a group of animals, including mammals, and every animal class related to mammals that to other living amniotes. They basically mean. What do they mean? They have bones, basically. Yeah, I think that's it. It means we have bones. Instead of like the sharks that have what's that material that's made into that's our ribs are made of. Oh God, guys know what I mean. Our ribs are made of a softer material that are not bony. They are cartilage. That's the one. Thank you. Thank me. And then we are mammalia. So our class is mammalia. We are mammals, right? And we belong to a group of animals that we are born. We are gestated internally. So our offspring are gestated inside the body of the females of our species, of our group, of our class, whatever. and we feed them in the first years of the first period of their time, with a substance which is secreted from the body of the female, which I'll get onto that later, and we've called that milk. It is a very nutritious, highly nutritious nutritious food source substance that makes the young people, the children, the offspring grow until they get weaned off that that substance. It provides them minerals, fatty acids, vitamins, even provides them certain resistance from bacteria and other antibody resistance to diseases. So it's a very, very important food stuff for young mammal offspring. Then we all also belong to the order of primates. Now, primates are a very specific animal. What is a primate? A primate basically has certain features. One of them is forward-looking eyes. Right? They always have their forward-looking eyes. They have a relatively semi-large brain. What else? What else do they have? They have. It basically is. They have their structure. Jesus, I'm a bit rough, guys. A bit rough. It's been many years since I've done this. The lineages, ones have tails, the other ones don't have tails. So we have the monkeys with tails and the apes without tails. We belong to the ones without tails. That's basically what the two lineages that they are. They're their characteristics. They are sexually dimorphic. That means the male is bigger than the female. They also have, like I said, they have forward-facing eyes, binocular vision for judging distance and perception. They have a bony ridge above the eye sockets to reinforce the face. What else? They have the domed cranium. All mammals have that domed cranium. It looks like a slightly ball. Some elongated, others shortened, but it's basically the inside where the brain is. It's a bulb. Other features, basically, they have hands. Some have hands on their feet as well. Some apes and monkeys, while others, they all have 5 fingers and 5 toes. The feet vary from primate to primate. Ours is made for walking. It's a song about that, and so our thumb, the finger, the thumb that represents the thumb is the longest, is at the most extreme part of our inside, and that helps to balance our gait. So that's what a primate basically is. I'm not going to make this a 4-hour lecture, just getting as quickly as possible. The suborder is Haplorhini, which means we are tailless. Then the family Homidae, we belong to the Homo species. And the tribe Hominini, right? And the genus Homo. The Hominidia includes all the subspecies, all the species from Homo habilis to us. The hominini is basically, I'll see what it means, because again, I've been a while since I've done this. Exactly. I can't spell it. Sorry, guys. I'm going to take a swig of beer because it loosens my tongue. Nope, don't spill. The hominini is a taxonomical tribe of the subfamily Homininia. Yeah, I'll put the links. It's just search Wikipedia. It's good enough for the description. There are three subtribes. One is Homo, Australopithecina, and Paninia, which is the orangutan. No, wrong. The chimpanzees, for example, Pan. And so there are three. The chimpanzees, which is Pan troglodytes, and Pan, the bonobos, Australopithecines, and our lineage. That's what hominini means. Hominini, yeah. And our genesis Homo has nothing to do with sexuals. It's Homo, and we belong to the species Sapiens, the species Sapiens, and the subspecies Sapiens. So we are Homo sapiens sapiens. That is what humans are. Now, being all of what I've said, they have two sexes, male and female. Right? That's all animalia reproduce that way. In fact, even plants, many plants also reproduce that way. That's this is a bad term. Around 530 million years ago, there were so many ways. There were more than one way to reproduce. One was almost like cloning. It's still you can still see it in anemones, certain anemones, where they just clone themselves and make almost like spores. They look like small jellyfish if you see them. Oh God, I wish I knew their names. But they clone those little bits and they float off. That's an exact clone of that. Of that animal. You can see also in the fungi where they produce spores and to sexually reproduce. That means they don't need sex to reproduce. It includes also not hermaphrodites. You need sexual reproduction for that. Asexual reproduction is cloning, basic cloning, or just an outgrowth that becomes you see that in the sponges, anemones, and certain jellyfish. That's where you see asexual reproduction. They don't need to have sex to reproduce. In fact, there's estimated. I'll look it up. The oldest. There is an organism on Earth which they have identified, and it's probably the oldest organism alive, and it's alive because it doesn't need asexual reproduction to reproduce. There's older than that. Oldest. Yeah, they don't use. There's also corals, which the corals that they don't use. They don't need sexual. Some do, others don't, but they don't really need sexual reproduction to multiply. Now, but higher animals do. Mammalia does. Reptilia does. What are they called? The not reptilians, before reptilians, frogs, frogs, salamanders, etc. They even though some can reproduce by turning, they have both organs, males and females in them. And slugs and snails and other animals, they still need to find another individual to reproduce. So nature has on this planet with evolution and natural selection has made that most animals, especially the sexual reproductive animals, have two sexes. That's it. There's no more. There's been bullshitting that that there are more than one sexes. I'll get into genders later, but first of all, let's concentrate on sexes. There's only two sexes because there is only our reproductive organs are like a key and a lock and a key. They fit in, right? Yes, I won't go into the cross species key and lock shit. That's not what we're here for. But you guys see what I mean. There's a hole and there's a rod. And that's basically how our evolution has made our reproductive capacities to carry on our species, to make our species, or all species, in fact, all animalia, all animalia does it, to go on to pass their genes on to the next generation. Right. Now, reproduction isn't perfect. Sometimes when you have meiosis and meiosis, which is the division of the egg to make the cell that will become an egg, to then fertilized by the sperm, which also has went through meiosis. And when they join, there are errors. Of course, there are errors. After they join, and the first division of the cell that has been fertilized, the egg and the sperm, there can be a hell of a lot of errors coming into it, through many factors, through genetics. The genetic factors are not the only factors. Oh God, I'm confusing myself. I hope you guys see what I mean. Oh, gee, what happened to the chat? Weird. Oh, it's going back. Must have been a refresh. There are errors that's what natural selection and evolution counts on, these errors. But most of those errors don't survive, so the cell will, because its damage, will die. It's naturally, if it goes to term, it won't survive after birth, because there are a whole lot of malformities that I don't want to. I want to get the right term, because if in the future some idiot listens to this, you accused people of being this and that. No, the organism that was born with so many errors will probably not survive for long. If it does survive, it's unfortunate, but it'll have many health. That organism will have many health problems. Now, what's interesting is that some of the errors are so subtle that the bearer could live his whole life and not suffer the consequences of those malformations of the genetic material. So that's where the word comes in, that it's been bandied a bit and as many people don't understand, and that's the word abnormal, right? Bering, he's probably not listening, but if he is, it's a bit of a shout out. He had an argument with, for example, with Tim Blake, and he didn't have an argument, he just creamed them, but they thought they had an argument where abnormal to Tim Blake felt as a derogative word. It's never a derogative word. Abnormal basically means not normal. You could also use another word, not, let's see if I can remember it, unexceptional. Why is the word unexceptional or even exceptional? No, exceptional. Why is the word exceptional have a better connotation than abnormal? They are synonymous. They mean something that is not ordinary, out of the ordinary. So an exceptional genetic mutation, why is it better than an abnormal genetic mutation? I put it forward to those two if they want to listen and give me the answer. Tim Blake and Michael Rollins, if they can answer why is one word negative and the other's positive when they mean the same thing, then they'll probably get their answer. So we got that out of the way. We have cleared. I think I cleared that up. Gender. Gender is if it's used to describe sexes, there are only two. If you think, but the sexual dysphoria or dysphoria, where they have a one sex trapped in the body of another, that's okay. But if you transition, you don't transition to a third gender. You transition either from a male to female or a female to male. That is it. If you transition, if you don't transition, you are what the mechanics or the tools you have under there, that's what you are. If you have a hole, you're a female. If you have a rod, you're a male. That's it. Anything else other than that is just pure personality. Could be a damaged personality, and I say that as it intended, a damaged personality. Because why is believing that one person is Napoleon any more crazier or any more different than someone thinking he is a non-binary pan-fluid bullshit shit? So that's basically covered. That's how I feel about it, and I want them to scientifically prove me wrong. Anyone who wants to be, that can write an article, have it peer reviewed, and then if it passes muster, I'll accept it. So we've finished that bit. Let's see how long it took me. 23 minutes. That's not bad. Now I'm going to go take you guys on something a bit different on archaeology. I know archaeology. You guys know that archaeology is my passion. I love archaeology, and I especially love the Neanderthals. So I think I'm going to use all my bit of my imagination, but I'm going to use scientifically proven facts that have been analyzed and have been corroborated, have been completely checked. They are facts from all the scientific data on how Neanderthals lived. I'm going to try and do because I can have this. It's not a gift. Yeah, it could be a gift. That's probably my forte. I can see a film. I can see a film of what I want to try to what I'm trying to describe. So sometimes it works better if I'm answering questions, but this time I want to try and see if I can do it in a linear form, in quite a good form, and it's sort of a practice to me. So I hope you bear with me. If I can get this done until about 11:15, because I want to try and make it as detailed as possible, and then I'll invite people in. I just post here I'll post in the chat the link, the invite link, and you guys can come on and we'll just talk about shit. But I really need to practice a bit of my communication skills, because not only for this but also for work. So please bear with me. Okay. Well, put the scenario on. Before that, I'm gonna have a chug of beer. I have another one outside my window cooling. That's how fucking cold it is, guys. In fact, I'm going to be generous and I'm going to fucking show my face today. This is this is cool. So let's start our journey. You guys know that the banner for this channel, it depicts a scene of Neanderthals meeting Homo sapiens sapiens, Homo sapiens Neanderthalensis meeting Homo sapiens sapiens. So this would have been a regular occurrence in Europe and in the Middle East from about 55,000 to 40,000 years before the present era. So Homo sapiens sapiens evolved in Africa, most likely in the Rift Valley, Ethiopia, Somalia, that area, not Kenya. What's that? More or less, you guys know where the Rift, East Africa, and then they spread out throughout the world. We are now the only surviving members of our not our species, because we are our species. There were 3 subspecies, so we had races at about 60,000 years ago. We had 3 races, possibly 4 living on Earth. Now, our family of Neanderthals, which was an extended tribe, they would have had up to about 25 individuals. We'll place them in I won't place them in Portugal. Or Spain. I'll place them in central France, or not South France, more or less where Bordeaux is now, the Gorgone region. That also has a lot of later cave art caves, which were decorated with paintings made by us, our subspecies. Homo sapiens sapiens. But before Homo sapiens sapiens arrived there, Neanderthals lived there for hundreds of thousands of years, at least 100 and something thousand years. They were here from about 300 to 65,000 years before present, when they evolved from the Homo heidelbergensis, the ancestor of the 3 or 4 our 3 or 4 races which we belong to, which we are one of them. So they start off by waking up. They would have been in a cave, because I'll take today as an example winter. I'll take spring. Spring's a good period. They would still have been in their caves. The cave would have overlooked a valley. Valley would have had a river running through it. Now, from their vantage point, they could see herds of animals and plants and other features. They could see far. The ground would have been still spring. There would have been a lot of snow still, but some of it was starting to melt. But the rivers were very, very turbulent because of all the meltwater. So the family would have gone up. They would have lit the fire, or not lit it. They would have had it lit already, because they would have banked the fire. So they'd add a few logs, get the fire going. They would have eaten the breakfast. They would have had harvested grains, fruits, dried fruits that they would have dried in the summer period, autumn period. They would have protected those fruits in the back of the cave, where it's cooler, as a sort of you can almost say as a sort of a cold storage area. After eating, they would have planned their hunt. Neanderthals would have needed to hunt quite regularly, not like Homo sapiens after them, which they were more efficient. Been proven they were more efficient hunters. The late Neanderthals from the Iberian Peninsula, especially from Gibraltar, close to the 30,000 before present, they have found that they were as efficient hunters as Homo sapiens sapiens before they died out. but that's another story. Now, they would have, excuse me, they would have gone up, the planned, the men knew more or less the area. They would have seen where spring is not a very good point in time to catch the big games, because the big games would have been, the big game animals would have been quite lacking in fat, and fat is one of the most prized foodstuffs that before the invention of agriculture we sought out. Fat is super nutritious. It gives many calories, and it powers our brain more efficiently than carbohydrates does. You can check it. It's scientific fact. So the large animals would not be very viable. They would have, in case they were really starving, try to kill us a deer or red deer, reindeer, maybe horse or some animal similar size, just for basically to not die of hunger. In spring, the river valley, which they would have lived close by, it's naturally, they would have, all hominids, all hunters, and not just humans, but all other species live close to water. Enough traveling distance where they could easily, it's called the side catchment area, where they would have had a river close by, etc. So they wouldn't, of course, you can go 3 days without, you can go for a month, almost a month without food, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, but you can't go 3 days without drink, without water. And it varies from place to place, but it's about that. So they would have probably have set up some fish traps. There is evidence that Neanderthals not constructed fish traps, but may have had as an emergency, may have speared, for example, a sturgeon, which is common in Europe. The sturgeon is where you get caviar from, but back in our hunter-gathering times, the caviar was just a luxury. They wanted the whole fish, and the sturgeon was a big fish. So that's a possibility. Another possibility was again, I said that they would have probably hunted, brought down a deer or a horse or some other animal of that size. Now, this is the difference between once they brought down an animal. Let's say the horse. That's the difference between that scientifically shown between us, Homo sapiens sapiens, and Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, is how they use the animal. It's been proven scientifically that Homo sapiens sapiens used basically all of the animal. The skin for furs, the fat for many uses. They butchered the animal more efficiently than Homo sapiens neanderthalensis. Now that could be one of the reasons why they may have been outcompeted by us. And I haven't even touched on the fact that we mated with them. They mated with us. The crossing is evident in Eurasian populations. Then we have Denisovian or Altai, Homo sapiens Denisovian, Homo sapiens Altai is such a new species that we haven't finalized the description. And Australians have a lot. The Australian Aborigines, the Papuans have a high percentage of genes from that cousin of ours, that race. And they have less of Neanderthals because Neanderthals didn't roam that far. Basically, up until the area of where the Denisova cave is, central Siberia. So yeah. Now, what did the women do? The women didn't just stay in the cave and chatter like modern feminists do and complain and all that shit. No, they would gather up with the children as well. They take the male children up until just before puberty, and they probably let them practice their hunting techniques. There was also probably an older um, elder, male and female, would accompany the females in their gathering expeditions to gather plant material. Spring is slightly rare. Food in spring is not that easy to find, but you still have leftovers from, for example, apples. Apples that we know of have nothing to do with what apples used to be before they were domesticated. The apples that were before domestication would be like the crab apples. Maybe you guys in the United States probably know more about what crab apples look like. Little small cherry type things that are so bitter and starchy, bitter that they melt your tongue. But if you pass them through, pass those fruits through various freezings and unfreezings, and you would sort of make them more appetizing. So that's one possible food stuff. Another, they were beginning roots, for example. You have many root food stuff that even in Europe, not just potatoes were from South America, the Americas, yams from East Asia and all that, and Asian areas. But even here we had starchy materials, for example, dandelion roots, which were starchy, and there are other stuff which I'm not a botanist, so I can't identify them all. And I hope I'm not boring the shit out of you guys. I apologize. You continue with the cancerous chat, which I love. I'm watching, guys, and hello everyone again. Those who just joined. Once they gathered, they'd come back mid-afternoon. The men may have brought down a small, for example, a wild boar. They were easier to catch. Easy-ish to catch. I'll answer it in a little while, Maleficus. 1 sec. Let me get my thoughts. I'm still in my train of thoughts. The men would have brought some animal back to the camp, to the cave. The women would have brought small game, easy to find. The kids, especially the males, would have probably taken down a few birds, for example, partridges or other fowl. Would have started to migrate into the area, so they could have taken them down. They weren't very plump, but they were still edible. And so on those sort of small game, as well as some vegetable material. You see, this is mid-afternoon. They still had the whole rest the rest of the day until evening to spare. They would have butchered the animals, processed the food, and some would have been stored. It's easy to store certain foods. Others, you need a bit more complex things. If you live near ocean, there are natural salt deposits. If you know how to get them, you make a small puddle just out of the high tide line, fill it with the salt water. The sun, even in spring, if there's enough sun, it would evaporate and form crystals. You'd have salt. It's not hard. Um, um, Malthus said, "What about fire? Fire was by this time easy. Homo erectus controlled fire. Well, there's something. There's arguments about whether it was Homo erectus himself or was it Homo ergaster, a later hominin that was possibly, or maybe, maybe the ancestor to Homo heidelbergensis, which were our direct ancestor that controlled fire. So it may have been Homo ergaster or Homo erectus that actually controlled fire. As soon as they had enough brain capacity to rush, to think, to process information, they may have noticed that, for example, lightning strikes caused natural fires. They just had to maintain that, and they would have, from trial and error, learned how to store fire, quote unquote. Later on, they may have even figured out how to produce it, which they have figured out how to produce it, because by the time Neanderthals, and my scenario, they would have even had the easy way to produce it. You get flint. Flint is the stone that they used to make all their stone utensils, from blades to spear points to arrow points to adzes to scrapers to all sorts of utensils. They were all made of flint. It was a versatile material. Now, if you strike flint onto, say, iron pyrite, which is easy to find, be fool's gold, it forms a spark. It actually makes a spark. And some lost in time, would have noticed it, probably from chipping or making his stone tools. He used a stone which maybe had enough iron pyrite or some other material that, when struck against the flint, produced a spark. It's not hard to get 1 and 1 to form 2 once you get to an intelligence level that's clearly the 3 races. This is the only time which I will use race: Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, Homo sapiens denisovian or Altai, and Homo sapiens sapiens. There is a 4th one, but we only know of him by genetics. And very, very restrictive in the Solomon Islands. And can't remember exactly. There's 2 places where they have the genetic, enough genetic key markers of a to have found a 4th hominin and a 4th Homo sapien SP species. So, yeah. So, didn't take me that long to get to the journey. I can't imagine yet how Homo sapiens met with Homo neanderthalensis. I've been still thinking up scenarios in my head, because it's all speculation. We know that from scientific facts that let's see if I can remember this right. Homo sapiens females can't really produce the offspring if mated to a Neanderthal, because there's something in the male chromosome, that's the X chromosome, Jesus, that causes miscarriages and all sorts of things. It's been proven. But males with us, when I say males now, it's Homo sapiens, us, with female Neanderthals, there's no problems there. There's much less problems there. It's more viable. So I expect that would be the case. I imagine them being like Portuguese sailors when Portugal, again, here's my bring up Portugal. I have to bring it up all the time, guys. But no, sailors, once they got into an exotic land, as soon as they saw a woman, they would like to get to know them more intimately. So, and that's how Homo sapiens may have produced the hybrids that we now see in our genetic material. And there was excavated here in Portugal, the Lapedo child. Lapeda, not Lapedo, Lapeda. It's a shelter in central Portugal, which dated to about 28-ish thousand years before BP, before the present, BCE, before current era. And he was clearly a hybrid. He had enough Neanderthal and Homo sapiens sapiens features to show that he was a no warped. It's not pedo child. It's la peda with an A, not with an O. God, you guys are so. Yeah. Let me check, see if no one's answered my nope. Okie dokie. My dumb stupid ass. I'm going now because I'm bored talking to myself. I get bored and shit, so I'm going to post the link on the chat. If you guys want to come on, it's a pleasure. I'm gonna turn my face off because it's fucking ugly. So, what's all this about? The satirician, skeptic, armored skeptic, and shoe-on head drama. I reckon it's bullshit. I saw the original. I even commented on the original video that satirician made. I told him, dude, it's June, man. Oh, well, it's shoe-on head. You've been basically said you've been trolled, and I thought it wouldn't go past that, but no, it's all. At the moment, I don't know. Oh shit! Is it? Oh, Gunny, really, man? Oh fuck, man! Well, I didn't know. I'm sorry, bro. Oh man, that made me fucking feel. Oh. Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. Yeah, he's a Brit and a drunk. Oh, I'm a drunk. I'm not a Brit, but I understand. Oh God, Maleficent! I wish I studied at La Trobe University. It's where the feminist cancer of Australia was born. I am proud of where I studied, but I'm also fucking ashamed they produced this. Oh God, this thing called Ros Ward, and oh jeez, Gunny, oh man, oh no, I feel terrible, man. Oh man, I hope you. Oh Jesus, no, I really feel bad. I don't feel bad. I mean, I didn't know. You'll get past this, man. Yeah, like Carla said, get well soon, my friend. Jeez. Yeah, she's worse than a fucking cave ape, man. Yeah. I'm all for that, yeah. Far out. Now I'm doing a Mitch Charming Man 93 type thing, answering questions from the chat. Seems no one wants to come on. So, Lancer Maleficus is 999. Get into a good, if you want to study that, there are books. You just type in, let's see, go to a library, go to the anthropology archaeological section and look up books of your field, and don't just look up the books. Go after you read see the books, look at the bibliography, because there's where the absolute gold is, the bibliography. From there you can expand your mind. If authors like, I'll type it here, let's see, Binford, Lewis, example. Binford is Lewis Binford, by the way, not Binford Lewis. In bibliographies, they write backwards, the surname first and the first name. Lewis Binford. You can start from him. Gould. What is that? Robert Richard. Jesus, he died some time ago. He's an anthropologist. He was the precursor to Stephen Dawkins, Richard Dawkins, I mean. Stephen J. Gould, there we go. Stephen J. Gould. Look him up. He's fucking awesome on anthropology and archaeology. So start there. These are, go to their bibliographies of any book they read. You'll find just a goldmine of shit. Mate, you oh god, I don't know what my uncle had one of my uncles before he died. He had a stroke, and I know how it is before he died. He was having a stroke nearly every 3 days. He had cancer and all that shit, and I know how it is, and it's, oh god, it brings me back painful memories. You guys can ask me questions. I can engage answering better. And if not, I'll stop it in a little bit. Hello, Scotch McGuinness. Thanks for appearing. You're new here. Made a Hitler joke praising his attack on the USSR. What, like the Beatles? No, yeah, was the Beatles back in the USSR or something? I'm a shit singer. Let's see what Twitter's happening here. Let's see. Yeah, shitstorms happening. What is my favorite movie? Oh, geez, that's a hard question. I got so many, and they are all from the 90s back. But I do have an all-time favorite movie, which I have seen many times. It's not an action movie. In fact, it's a French movie. It's made by a French comedian. His name was Jacques Tati. It was shit. I have his whole collection here. It translates to les fêtes dans the feast in the the Village. Jacques Tati directed, wrote, filmed. He did everything. He made two copies. One was a color copy. He had two cameras, a color camera and a black and white camera. And it basically is the circus coming to town. Jacques Tati is the postman, and just a whole lot of scenarios, funny scenarios happen. That's probably my favorite movie. Yeah. Then there's this, yes, African Queen is fucking awesome. I've seen that many times. Oh yes, I have that as well. Vacation, and also my uncle, which shows modernism, how it impacted on France. When for example, the one I mentioned, the Feast in the Village was made. It was 1949. It was 4 years after World War II had ended. And if you see it, there's no real. France was destroyed after that, in World War II, many places except Paris and a few cities, the eastern cities, not the western cities, but the major cities in the and there's no evidence at all of the war in his films. It was awesome. I like the Magnificent Seven though, a bit better than the Seven Samurais. The first one that was made with Yul Brynner and that, not the other ones afterwards. Yeah. Blade Runner, of course. Well, that's one of my favorites. But Blade Runner, the late cuts that what's his name, the director brought out on the Blu-ray and that. Yes, yeah. The Godfather, the first two Godfather movies to me is one of probably the two of the greatest. Godfather 1 and 2. Those two. The third one was shit. Everyone agrees, but the first two was fucking. They are classicals. American Pie. That's a bit underrated. Many people underrate that movie. Breaker Morant. It's an Australian film. Breaker Morant. It's in the Boer War of an Australian officer in the South African Boer War. The South African Boer was where he was killing the stupid it was fighting the Boers, those savages from. Well, they weren't savages, but yeah, it was the. That was a good film as well. IP Man, I have them both. Ip Man, I have the three of them, and each one's quite good. I agree. The Chinese. There's also the what's that movie? It's the story of this really great fighter who at the end is poisoned. I can't remember the name of the film. Fearless. The English translates to Fearless. Oh God, Kung Fu Hustle is fucking hilarious. I can't get me. I have that film and it just cracks me up every time. And there's a Kung Pao that also just cracks me up as well. I haven't seen Hard Boiled. I've got to get that. A lot of Jackie Chan movies are quite good, but I like. To me, the best one is The Legend of the Drunken Master of Jackie Chan's fighting. It probably has the best fight scene. It was one of the voted for. Well, you know how votes were operate, but it has one of the awesomest fight scenes in martial karate Asian fighting films and that. And I love the drunken style. Kingdom of Heaven, it was okay. It was okay. I didn't dislike it. It's one of the films which it was historically not that total bullshit. It had enough to say, yeah, it was okay. It was okay. It was okay. God, if I have about 2 terabytes of movies in DVDs and CDs and DVDs and CDs before DVDs were the thing. I have even CDs. So yeah, the extended cut of Lord of the Rings are perfect. They are very close to the books, and I love the books. I've read them about 100 times each. All of them. I mean, all of Tolkien. I've read all of Tolkien. So yeah. City of God. Yes, it is. It's brutal in its depiction. I've seen it. I've seen it 3 times, and the brutality and I just can't see it. Watch it more because it touches me. I have from Gaius. I have a few dollars more, a fistful of dollars, and Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. One of the best trilogies, Western trilogies ever. Yes, Brazil by what's his name from Monty Python. Yes, it's dystopia. It's one of the dystopian possibilities. It shows it's a bit very much close to Kafkaesque Kafka type scenarios. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Yes, I got that. Yep. I've seen that. Land Before Time. Man, wait, you mean that the 70s one where this I have that. Terry Gilliam, thank you, guys. I couldn't remember his name. They're from Monty Python. Yes, Land Before Time, the dinosaur, the lizard people, that fucking. It was they were trying to depict an Australopithecine and then made him look into a fucking toothed chimpanzee type character. I can't remember the names. Yeah. Throw Mama from a Train. Was alright. Gunny was not too bad. 5 more minutes of this. This is talking about. I like engaging in people. Today was weak. My guests didn't appear, so fuck them. They don't know what they're missing. Apocalypse Now. That is based on a novel about the Belgian involvement in the Congo. If you guys know what the Congo used to be what now is the Democratic Republic of Congo, used to be the only colony the potato French fried inventors Belgium had. Now, King Leopold of Belgium, he basically used the Congo as his personal backyard. If the SJWs shit on about the American slavery, if they have had just the tiniest inkling of what the Belgians did in the Congo, they would fucking shoot themselves with horror. That's how bad it was. It was the most horrific details that I am fucking. I have a strong stomach, but even I can't fucking stand what the fuck they did to the poor cunts in the Congo. One more time, see if any of the newcomers want to come on and say hello. Hello there. How are you today? It's my trying to do my Indian type accent, but I can't do it. Yeah, and I do. Well, yeah, I'm so big now. I'm beginning to be shadow banned. Sorry, Jan. And yeah, my people, everyone should know by now that I have a regular stream Tuesday nights at more or less. It could be earlier, but it's never later than 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, London time. Portugal operates on that time, so yeah. Ah, is working. I can't send it to. Yeah. You are completely correct, Gunny. Absolutely, man. And it's fucking ironic that that is true. Today, anyway. Who? What? No, that's not patriarchy, Bear. Probably not. It doesn't look like it. Everyone's fucking joining this stupid clone meme shit that's happened because of. Jan, I posted the link. If I didn't want you to come on, I would not post the link, man. Wish I had a joint. I have so many bottles of beer. Well, stubbies of beer. They're the small bottles of beer here next to my desk. That if my wife finds out, she's gonna kill me. So I was patriarchy. Bear, save the Mines Karma County is dead. You okay. That couldn't get any biggins. The big. And we have Jan. Hello, Jan. Or is it Jan? That's Jan. I know how to pronounce Jan.
Jan.
Jan, of course, my friend. So, how are you?
Pretty good.
So, what brings you something? Say something. Favorite book or story? From Gaius.
I just watched, how the fuck is it called? Sherlock Holmes on for about 3 hours on Netflix.
What did you see on Netflix?
Sherlock Holmes, you know?
Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, I know him. Which one? Robert Downey Jr.
No, just this. I don't fucking know. Just a series thing.
Oh, with what's his name? The one that played the bad guy in Star Trek, Darkness, some shit or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. He's a good actor though, by the way. Just to answer this question, my favorite book or story, The Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton. I want to get the actual books. I miss them. I can't even find the fucking audio books of that. The whole Faraway series, Tree series from Enid Blyton. Blyton, that's the one. They are my favorite books. Yeah. Sorry, no, yeah, you were saying, Jan?
Nothing.
Yeah.
No.
So, how's the snow in the Netherlands?
It's clearing up. Pretty happy.
Oh, it's fucking outside. It's 1.4 degrees Celsius.
So it's like -7 here.
Yeah, it's supposed to after tomorrow, really drop to about -5, 6, and so on. But it's fucking sunny. Oh God.
Yeah. What can I say?
Nothing. I just hope you don't get caught in the snow. That's all.
Well, I actually got about 20 minutes delay or something. How the fuck do you say it? Today because of the snow going back home.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I have to have a 4x4 here because otherwise I can't move anywhere. Broccoli, you can ask me. I can tell you where I live. I live in the most northern part of Portugal. From north of me, it's only Spain. There, I just answered him. Sorry about that. He interrupted me. Jesus. I don't have Dutch beer, which I like. I have this Belgian beer today. It's Kwak.
Quack?
Kwak, yeah. Kwak.
That's fucking gross. Just
You
the
don't like
sound.
it?
No, you don't know the word.
Quack. I know how to say the word. I just said Kwak, but it's Quack.
Oh, yeah, no, nothing. Just Dutch thing, I guess.
I have a Golden Drak. It's also Belgian, I think. But I'm saving that for a really special occasion. For my birthday.
How old are you?
Again, answer broccoli. No, further north from Braga, broccoli. Try Minho, Alto Minho, district of Viana. I'm doxing myself, but let them come. They can't do fucking shit to me.
Watch out for that alt-right cock, you know?
The alt-right cucks, if they come here, they get the beating of their fucking lives.
Yeah.
Or Muslims, or leftists, or those anyone that's, jeez. I'm a Celt. We survived Rome. We survived the Germanic tribes. We survived the Moors. So
Yeah.
we're strong.
We were strong and she.
We're strong. Jesus, this reminds me of the movie Gladiator, when Russell Crowe is giving his speech, but on the other side you see the northern. They weren't Celts, by the way. They weren't Celts. They were the Germanic tribes. Ooga, or whatever the way they say. I'm not even going to try it because I'll just ruin it. Yeah. Okay, we'll give it 3 more minutes. This chat is okay. It was I said my monologue. I'll probably, if I don't get more than 20 views from this, I'll just unlist it. So Jan, do you study? Or do you
No,
work?
no, I
You
do
work.
study, but I don't study.
You work. But now you study. University of. You don't have to say the city. University.
No,
Huh?
just yeah. I don't fucking know how school systems in English call that shit. I really don't get that shit.
English is easy.
No, English. I can speak English, but you know, with schools and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just those words in English, and I can't find it.
There are words which just even they're really hard. Portugal's the same. You have words which, if you move, especially in sentences, if you move the apostrophe one word after, it totally means differently. I love language. I wish I knew all European languages, all of them.
Yeah, would take a bit too much space in the brain, but
No, I have enough space for languages in my brain. I'm just too old now. Okay, I think we should wrap this up. Thank you, Jan, for coming on. Really
yeah, what the
appreciate
fuck
it.
not?
Yeah, thank you. Had something to talk to. I know today's chat was completely fucking boring, but I don't care. I can have my boring chat once in a while. I'm not God. And we will end it right here. Okay, people in the chat, thank you. Sorry for boring the shit out of you. I apologize. It'll never happen again. Next week's chat will have decent guests, not just me being an idiot. And good night, people.
Bye, Cox.